like to have people who are interested in the welfare of animals since we've been interested in that for many, many years. We have asked Sheriff Langston to come and talk to you and explain why he and Ms. Pittman think that the police should take over animal control. We don't feel that's the best interest of the animals, but I'd like to hear what he has to say. If you want to speak to us,
Thank you. For the ones of y'all that don't know me, I'm Sheriff Gary Langford, Sheriff of Murray County here. Commissioner Pittman had came to me and asked me to take over the animal control shelter after the first year when I took office. I, at that time, told her that I wasn't interested, that I had enough to do trying to run my department as it was. As it went on into the year here, she kept on wanting us to take it over. She felt that we had checked with several of the other local sheriffs in the state, and a lot of them took over and run the animal shelters. When I got to checking into it and she still wanted us to take it over, we checked and decided that we would take it. When she offered it to us, we checked and talked to different sheriff's offices, the way they handled it. We felt that the problems that was going on, the employees that worked at the animal shelter now are not certified deputies, certified officers. A lot of the calls out into the county, like cruelty to animals or some that you would have maybe dog fighting, they cannot prosecute this. A certified deputy can. They can put it in Superior Court. Several weeks ago, there was a case that made it to Superior Court that one of the animal control officers had issued, and the Superior Court judge kicked it out of court because it was illegal for them to bring it to Superior Court because they were not a certified officer. So she had got with me. We worked out a deal as far as how we was going to do this. She wanted all the employees other than the secretary to be certified law enforcement officers. That's what we're going to do. The director will be certified. The one that works on the road will be the certified deputy. And then the lady or man, whoever works inside, that will be the secretary, will not be. They will handle the day-to-day basis as far as paperwork. One of the other benefits is I will use some of my county inmates to help clean the facility up. We can save money on that part. We will still probably implement a part-time employee, so that will still give us 3 employees full-time and maybe 1 part-time. The employees that are over there now, we offered them to come to work into the sheriff's department, sheriff's office, and have a chance of getting certified. If they wanted to work their way back to the animal shelter, then they could. If we tried to wait and get them certified, it would be several months, maybe even up to 6 months before we could get them certified and get them into school. So we opened it up for employment, people to put in for it. We chose out of 5 applications. I hired Diane Franklin. She works at the Whitfield County Animal Shelter. I've been with them about 23 years.
And what is their euthanasia rate there in Whitfield County?
I have no idea.
You hired someone and you have no idea of what the euthanasia rate is?
have you seen their facilities?
Have you ever toured the facilities?
No.
So we're going to take a working program that's working, we know it's successful, and replace it with an unknown.
Where the kill rate is at least 3 times higher.
Well, we get the kill rates 92%.
But this is animal control.
We have an internationally famous dog shelter here that is known worldwide.
And we're not going to allow...
It is the most famous part of Murray County worldwide.
I'm just telling you
It's the
how
most
we're
famous
going
part.
about this.
It's the most famous part of
If you'll just give me a moment to let me answer my question,
Okay.
I'll be glad to let you talk to Diane, who's here. Okay? If y'all will just...
Well, you're the one that made the decision. You said you studied it. You've been in office for 4 months. How did you make the decision?
How many other sheriff's office did you contact?
On their training.
On their training?
Yes.
Okay. Not on their history or track record?
She is not certified yet, is that correct?
Is that right?
Certified in what?
As a sheriff's officer or whatever, she will have to be
Yes, she is a certified officer.
So you just hired her based on her application?
So the euthanasia rate wasn't even looked at as part of the, application process.
And I'm sorry, you are?
Gary,
Oh,
she was not the director of Whitfield County.
No,
She was not the director of Whitfield County. I'd like to-
no, I didn't say that.
I know you did, but I'm letting these folks know
Right.
that Diane
She's
was
not the
not
director
the
of
director,
Whitfield
she
County, right,
was
that's
not in
correct.
charge.
I was a veterinarian in Whitfield County for 30 years. I know everything on the dog pound.
And
So
your
that's
name,
Dr. William H. Mack.
and you do certification
No,
for
No,
transport
I
and
did.
rescue?
no. I live in Whitfield County. I was.
We still have a home there.
And I have people come in, clients come in and discuss the Whitfield County dog pound regularly when I was there, and the personnel in Whitfield County dog
So
pound.
do you do certification at Whitfield County or Murray County to certify dogs to go out of state? We do rescue. Or paperwork,
I
stuff
do,
like that?
I do the paperwork at Murray County and. I do, and I spend every Friday at the pound. Not the last 6 years.
If y'all would just hang on, we'll let you have questions in a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
That is why, like I said, we chose from the applicants we had. We're still going to choose another road deputy to, be hired, and, that way we'll have 2 full-time, certified officers that can, when we're out here and we get cases like, animal abuse or dogs that's being, fought, we can charge them. Now they can't, they don't have a arrest power with that. But that's one of the reasons we've done that. In just a moment, I'll let Diane explain to you what she's gonna do, and then this is also now, Tommy Parker with the Commissioner's Office, and he can explain to you also why we've decided to, take it over.
Give you a little background. This started back in November. We had a new commissioner take office, or was elected then. I think took office in January. New sheriff, and during her campaign throughout the county, she heard a number of complaints about the way, things were done at animal control. As the sheriff alluded to, they have limitations, due to their authority. So he agreed to take that at her request, but, the stipulation was that he have, peace officers working there. And we put civilian employees into, situations that, are very difficult for them at times. It's not fair to them, because they lack the training that a peace officer has. In addition to the mandated training, there's the, field officer training, when they come back from school, they spend several weeks or months, doing that. And they have, continuous, ongoing, training in their particular area, of work, whether it's the jail or traffic or, whatever they, are involved in. So that was his request that we, changed to, and he'd be allowed to hire certified officers. We honored that request.
And what request was that
I
again?
can tell you that, for my involvement, and I've been involved in most of the discussions, that's the only change that has been, discussed, is, changing from civilian to sworn personnel. Now, we're shocked at the rumors that are out there, but.
It's not rumors.
That's the only change. Now, also, when the sheriff gets through, before we open this up, we've got to have some rules, so that everybody here who wants to be heard can be heard. First of all, I'd like to know your name, so we're gonna try to keep some records. I'd like to know where you're from, not specific address, but if you're from this county or some other county or state, we'd like to know that. If you have comments that are intended to embarrass someone or personally attack someone, please keep those to yourself. If you have specific questions about personnel decisions that we wouldn't normally discuss, we won't answer or entertain those questions. That's not because we're here today for this particular subject, that's just our policy. So, whoever else the sheriff wants to introduce, then we'll get to your questions. Thank you.
What is your background in animal control and animal rescue?
Mine?
Yeah.
I have no background. This will be first for me to take over. I will be, the sheriff over. I will have the director running it, and if there's anything, problems, they will come to me. I will not have nothing to do with it. They will just run it, and then they will come to me.
One more question, I'm sorry. The other shelters that you looked at that this program seems to work, what shelters were those?
We checked with Whitfield.
Oh, just one. Just one. You said you had checked with multiple.
I didn't. It was checked.
Actually, it's on this videotape that you said you checked with multiple.
They checked. If you'll come on up, I'll let you talk to them.
In conversation with Mr. Bass, in Whitfield County, Whitfield County has licensed officers on the street who do the law enforcement, but the county commission retains control of the shelter and manages it. The sheriff's department does not manage this. The county commission still. And so we could, if we could sit down and talk rather than, we could have something where we had a shelter that had a function, that could maintain its national reputation, and we could have the best of law enforcement going out in the street and having mandated officers. Because we have excellent shelters. And I don't think anybody in the county questions that. But we are not against your officers going out, breaking up dogfight rings, writing tickets, and improving things. But improvement we want. Destruction of excellence we don't want, okay?
Thank you.
And like I said, and I offered the other day, and you wouldn't admit, to sit down with you and serve in a professional capacity, free of charge, to sit down and let's work up a format that would make the citizens here happy, and also improve the situation of having officers in the field that have the power. We're not against that. We just don't want to destroy what we have an international excellence in. Okay? And like I said, and I will
Thank you.
Down, and I will personally, Randy, whoever else you want to do, and I would like to cooperate with you. I'd like to be your friend. I'd like to be a positive influence in Murray County. I've been working over here for 7 years. I do not work in Whitfield. I come over here because of the excellence you have. When I retired from veterinary medicine for 30 years, I asked for the Murray County animal rescue portion to be excluded from my contract so I could come over here and practice. And I come over here and practice because I saved more dollars writing papers, examining dogs, than I did in my practice in weeks. I still have personally. And there's a lot of dogs that come out of this shelter that wouldn't come out of any other shelter in the country. And like I said, and I'm not against the improvement that Sheriff Langford, I'm behind him. And like I said, and I wouldn't mind being a part. And like I said, I don't want someone by position charging a block per hour to do it, but I would volunteer to work with them to establish something that is quality, that is improved, something that makes the county of Murray happy, that would work better for me, and it would be better for your image, and it would be better for all of us. And like I said, you and I had a discussion the other day. I enjoyed it. I thought we had a debate that I think you enjoyed. I enjoyed. I don't think we saw head to head, but like I said, in government, I don't think you're supposed to be head to head, but governments can make progress, make peace, and work together, not butt heads. And I don't want to butt heads.
I understand, but you're going to have to talk to Commissioner Hill. She wants us to take it over as of May 1st. If she's willing to talk to y'all on this more, I have no problem with that.
I've been in Brittany's office and talked to her before I talked to you about it, okay?
I thought Brittany put you over it.
I will be May the 1st, that's what I'm saying. If y'all want to talk to her and she wants to postpone this, talk,
Brittany said that
That's-
she was unaware of even the rescue work that was being done there last Friday, 8 days ago. She was unaware of all this rescue work that was being done.
Do you know why this rescue work had to
So
be,
that's what was so
was
important.
done, why we didn't publicize it? Because Pauline didn't want to publicize it, and because if we publicize it, we would be overflowed. Because rather than Myrtle saying, I'm gonna work to get my dog at home, she just take it to Pauline.
Right.
So this work had to be done in secret. It's known nationwide, but less of it's known in Murray County than anywhere. And it has to be that way to be effective. And I charge very little for my services when I come over. Now, like I said, I feel like I'm doing a positive for your community. I do not live in Murray County. I drive an hour to get here, okay? I do not do the same service to Cookeville County. I do not do the same service to Catoosa County because I come over here because with the way the shelter is clean, the disease rate, the condition of animals, I can ship dogs out here and not have my professional reputation endangered. And it really is it is an excellent facility. I bought and basically, for y'all know, I bought approximately $15,000 worth of veterinary grade stainless steel cages, and I put in the shelter over here in Murray County on loan. And it was stipulated in that loan that if Pauline was removed from director, that I could pull these cages out. This week, I took my cages out because I did not believe in what was happening in this county at this point. Because I believe in Sheriff Langford, I believe he has the ability to put officers in the field. I believe his reputation as a law officer is outstanding. You know, everybody I talked to spoke very highly of you and said you're a good man, you're wonderful, and I'm here to represent the stray dogs of Murray County, the stray animals who could be got home, and the adoption.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to limit, your time, because there are other people I'm sure here.
One more point I'll step down, okay? The funds that are being raised for these animals is no cost to Murray County. It's all done by fundraising by Pauline's organization, and they are probably hundreds, I would say at least $100,000 been raised probably over the last 5 years because I see the dogs and I see the bills. And like I said, we have something excellent here, and like I said, we could even be more excellent if we work together rather than apart. Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Kim Wilson, and I am a Murray County resident. My only question is because, like he said, there were a million rumors that went around. I used Puppy Promise with a stray dog that I received, and all the puppies were adopted out to Connecticut. The rumors going around is you will not let any out-of-state adoptions, and that it's going to become a kill shelter. All of those puppies were adopted by a vet and 3 people in her office. Completely great. I get updates. I want to know, is that program still going forward? Are you going to make it a kill shelter, or will this still be happening?
Are you familiar with Puppy Promise program?
I'm not. Diane is, and she can probably explain to you more. No, we're not going to make it a kill shelter. That's
I want you to confirm and deny the rumors.
the rumors that's been out on the computer is false.
Out-of-state adoptions are still going to be allowed?
I have talked to a lady from South Georgia. If they are legal to adopt and has license and all this, we're still going to be doing this. Have no problem.
Are you gonna require license here in Georgia or in their own state? That's the reason for that is, that's key.
Yeah, whatever
The answer to
So you're making
that
it
question, because
more restrictive?
if you've got out-of-state rescue and they have to register in every state and pay that registration fee, they won't do it, they'll go to the path of least resistance, and the dogs will die.
Clerk, we can't override the Georgia Department of Agriculture rules and regulations. We have to do them.
What are those regulations?
Those regulations say that a rescuer from out of state has to be licensed as an out-of-state rescuer with the Georgia Department of Agriculture.
And who's the county vet? Who's the county vet that goes that?
Agricultural license has been illegal, it's been expired.
Do you have a county vet that should have known?
Yeah, no, I understand.
They use,
Excuse me, one moment. This is Diane Franklin. She has taken on the position of director at, the Murray County Animal Shelter. And that's, as of
May 1st.
May 1st.
Let me introduce myself and tell you my background.
And your kill rate.
We'll get to that.
Your rescue rate.
please let her talk.
I'm not gonna cooperate with people yelling at me. I trained under Dr. Mathis. I have a good rapport with Dr. Mathis. I was a vet tech for him for 2 years. I received the job at the Whitfield County Animal Shelter in 1990. I've worked there for 23 years. We didn't have a humane society. We had a 0 rescue rate. It was basically a 100% kill shelter. I follow the policies and procedures of the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners. They set how animals leave. We also follow to the T the Georgia Department of Agriculture's rules and regulations because we have to be licensed and we have to keep those licenses up to date. There are only certain procedures that rescuers can get. You have to have a license. I have to have a license. If a rescuer has a Georgia Department of Agriculture license, I can transfer that dog right to that rescuer. No questions asked. It takes one stroke of the pen. I believe in rescuing. I love rescuing animals. I think there's a strong, wait just a minute. There's a strong part of animal control. Some of that's rescuing. But let me tell you why I took this job. When I sat down with the administration, they asked me, which I have never been asked before, how can we address animal overpopulation? My answer was, I know that we cannot euthanize enough to stop animal overpopulation. And I know that we can't rescue enough to stop animal overpopulation. We have to use all the tools in our box. One of those is rescue. A big part of that's rescue. I look forward to volunteers. I look forward to rescuing. I'm sorry that there were rumors put out there that were false. When you're dealing with the whole aspect of animal control, you're dealing with every nuisance dog in the county. The majority of those will be adoptable, and I will be looking for rescues to take if you have that license, in-state or out-of-state. I've already spoke with a woman in Texas who wants to bring a mobile spay unit to our county. Hallelujah. How can we address animal overpopulation? If we can stop them coming in the front door, we don't have to worry about them going out the back door.
Could I please speak before she gets up?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a taxpayer in Murray County. I know y'all are from Whitfield. I'm a taxpayer. Now, I'm sorry. Let me sure. I'm sure that Bill used to live there. You're no more intelligent than we are here. We are compassionate people. We pay our taxes. We love animals. I have 3 dogs that people shunned off. And I got that nobody wanted them. So yes, I have 3 of those dogs. One of my neighbors who did not abide by the rules let one of her dogs get into my dog fence and impregnated my pyrenees before I could get her killed. She had 40 dogs, 10 in her house and 20 in her yard and 10 in her renter's place. So then, I want you to know, we are intelligent, we are compassionate, and we are not stupid. We know what life is in humans and dogs. My husband drives over the road. He's tired. He comes in. He can't sleep for dogs barking next door because people who went to them have 10 dogs and 5 dogs, and they have 5 dogs. About 14 months ago, the doctor put him on a week out of work, rest time, before they let him go back on the road and drive. In February of this year, he was in the hospital stressed out because my neighbors got up a petition because I had complained about their dog. He was so horrified by what he read in that petition they said about me. He was afraid, as big as he is, that they might harm me while he was out on the road. Now, most of those things have been proven lies, and I've got 5 witnesses that'll go to court with me again against that. But those are 3 of the best dogs. I took them this morning down to Todd, and I had them vaccinated again, all 3. And when my dog got pregnant, I used puppy promises. I believe in this woman. I believe she's compassionate. I don't understand why y'all can't come over here to save us before now. But let me tell you this. The animal shelter, they have good people there. They work 4.5 days. They still under price. But they work 4.5 days. The dogs that are stray, especially when the economy went south and starting in 2007, people even from your county were certainly dropping off dogs over here in the river, Conestoga River. Now, this just really makes me question why y'all just now come to save us from ourselves. Because I'm going to tell you, we're compassionate. We know how to save dogs' lives, and this machine, or this bus, or whatever it is, she can get in here. You might want to get one in Whitfield. But my husband, the doctor said, and they gave him a cat test because he was so stressed out. And when I talked with him, he said, I wish I had your husband's heart. He's got the heart and arteries of a 35-year-old man. I just have to put in a skin. He said he's under stress from fear of dogs. Thank you.
Let's not make this about the river that divides us, okay? We talked about our plan, we've introduced the new director. If you have questions about our plans for moving forward, please, direct those questions one at a time, because I don't want anybody to interrupt you when you talk. Please.
I would like to say this.
Who are you directing your question to, please?
I guess to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't believe it's the Whitfield, Murray County argument here, that's people coming together, to help the animals. And I lived in Murray County for almost 10 years. I recently moved to Whitfield, but I volunteer with the Murray County Humane Society.
And your name is?
And it's Laurel Kirkbride. I spoke to you the other day. And my question is, will the shelter still allow individuals to come in and adopt out animals? Because I know currently Whitfield County does not allow that. And the Humane Society over there, and you mentioned one other gentleman, are the only ones that can come in and pull animals that are deemed adoptable. And what you might not see as adoptable, all these other people might. So will the public still be allowed to come and adopt from the shelter?
Yes.
Okay.
And caveats to that? Excuse me? Caveats to that?
As long as they fill out the adoption papers, I don't even want to charge any money to adopt.
But
I want them to go directly and have it spayed and neutered.
But you told me on the phone the other day in our conversation that you were wanting these animals to go to their forever home.
Right.
And the reason you only let the Humane Society and this other gentleman pull is because you didn't want just anybody coming off the street. So how is that going to differ from Whitfield County?
Statistics show that sporadic adoptions might not be best for the animal. I want to make sure that animal's not transferred.
Right.
I will not close down the shelter to personal adoptions. I would like to speak with them, find out why we're adopting, spend a little time with them if I can. I'm running on a short staff. I personally would like to have a volunteer adoption person there. If somebody wants to volunteer to help me with that, I'm game. The reason we did that in Whitfield was because the Humane Society had more leeway in screening. Government agencies don't have a lot of leeway in screening when you're taking money for an animal. I can't refuse. What I'm saying is a government agency can't refuse. When I know that person may not really be the best fit for that animal. You see,
Yeah.
that way I used the Humane Society, I allowed them to fill out their adoption papers, I allowed them to do a home check and a vet check, they had a whole lot more time than I did.